Hi, my name is David Weisglass, and I'm a field sales executive for Europe in MetricStream, responsible for sales in Spain and Portugal. Today we have a very special guest, Ivan Martinez, who is the Chief Audit Executive at Banco Santander. He has over 16 years of internal audit experience in financial services. Ivan currently leads the internal audit team at Banco Santander's London branch, the main corporate and investment banking Santander franchise in the UK. He's responsible of defining the assurance plans over all relevant risks: market, credit, IT, cyber, financial crime, or operational, faced by this organization. Before that, he held some senior positions in wealth management in Spain. These roles have provided a deep understanding on the management of multiple risk disciplines, such as market risk, credit, financial crime, operational, reputational, regulatory, information, and cybersecurity. Ivan holds a master's degree in finance and banking, is a member of the head of audit committee of the Association of Foreign Banks, and is an enthusiastic of new technologies and how these technologies implementing them day to day in the organizations.
Hello, and thank you for bringing me to discuss about this very relevant topic nowadays and very interesting as well. So, as you say, we are responsible here of overseeing the business, the investment businesses in the UK. And our team is based in London, and we oversee all these businesses, and we are responsible of auditing these specific aspects of the Santander business here in the UK.
Okay, so what do you see in this respect within your work perimeter, and how does it imply on the effectiveness of internal audit to readily cope with the transformational change?
So, what I will say is that, or the way that I see this transformation is in basically two dimensions. Okay, so the first one is about how our environment or the organization is changing in terms of their IT infrastructure, different processes, automation of controls, and so on. So this is a very relevant topic because basically, as I said, the organizations and the industries is rapidly changing, and we need to adapt to these changes and to understand the different animal that we are facing nowadays compared to some years ago. This is impacting our assessment of risks because obviously the risks of the organization are evolving, even with all of the more settled risks that are also evolving and taking different nature and um, different methodologies. In the other hand, obviously we've got another dimension, which is the way that we are evolving our methodologies and our audit techniques on assessing and reviewing the different controls. Okay, so in this sense, obviously, in the recent years, we are seeing an evolution in the techniques and methodologies that we are applying to audit, which basically comprises different aspects like data analytics, like automation of testing, like using different tools to incorporate in our business as usual, And I think this is also critical to understand how the audit function is evolving with this new environment.
Totally. There is definitely a need to build a multi-skilled technology-enabled resource pool which can recognize emerging risks and timely reflect them in the audit plan. Be more accurate with lesser time spent on going through data review. Where do you think auditors find challenges in adopting new skills or technology to become, let's say, the next generation auditor?
So I think this is very very interesting currently because I think we are in the middle of this transition of the audit skill set as it is more demanded the kind of people who are let's say digitally native or are well prepared to start using some technical skills. And I see this in again in two ways. First, about recognizing the wall and the new infrastructures that the organization are implementing in the different processes by being, let's say, digital smart in understanding the new reality and understanding the interconnectivities and interconnections between different systems and identifying which are the new risks that we are facing in this new environment. Basically, is to do or to incorporate all these aspects in our risk assessment processes that obviously these are changing and evolving as well, but we need to identify how these new infrastructures and new automation of processes are impacting in the, let's say, in the old risks like credit market and so on, because this is not just the changing in the IT risks but also how the rest of the risks are evolving. And in the other side is about how to implement new tools and new skills that we need nowadays into our day-to-day auditing all these topics, because this is not just about understanding the environment, but also about how we are adapting our techniques to increment our efficiency and impact in the different audits that we are conducting. For instance, as I mentioned, the new auditor has to have the skill set um, to ensure a proper review of data management. They need to understand, we need to understand how to manage and how to audit big, big amount of data and be more effective in the way that we apply the normal techniques to the new environment, and ensuring increasing the impact in terms of the effectiveness of the audit and in terms of the value that we add to the organization as well.
Okay, really, really interesting. Thank you for your answer. Well, moving away from the traditional audit methodologies, it is important to create the right atmosphere for the audit team with the right technology to raise the bar. Often said, it's a shift in mindset. Or do you think there is much more to becoming a next gen auditor?
I think in the moment that we are is a combination of both. I will say again is we need to change our mind in terms of the old ways of auditing and facing the changes in the organization. So, for instance, obviously we need to be in the front end of the change of the change management on the organization. So we need to be involved in all the processes when the organization are changing. So we need to be part of all these steering committees with new initiatives, to be aware of all the changes that the organization are involved in. In the other hand, obviously, we need to adapt our skills to be able to manage, especially big amount of data. This should be reflected obviously in the coverage of our audits. So I think in the industry, everybody is working towards the increasing of the coverage. So let's say abandoning the sampling and the coverage or limited coverage of the audits, and moving to a full coverage by using these new tools. And also this is critical to understand new automation of processes, how we can incorporate this in our techniques, new tools that currently are in the market, or even as in our case, we are building in-house to ensure an increase in our coverage. So I think, as I said at the beginning, it should be a combination of both things, like the people or business auditors, as we were managing in the old world, changing the mindset to adapt to this new world, and also adapting our techniques and our skills to start managing new tools, and also increasing the coverage of different audits.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So, what should internal auditors do to readily cope with these changes and help organizations realize the intended benefits associated with transformation programs, making it an ongoing process rather than a time-bound project?
I think that's a good question. I think this is or the way that I understand this is an ongoing process.
Yeah,
As I said, we should be part or be involved in the change management process of the organizations, and this means that we should be in the committees. We should be involved in the discussions about new technologies and new infrastructure that the organization are implementing in the different processes and different businesses. And we should be there to help the organization to identify the risks that all these new technologies and approaches raise into the organization, ensure that the organizations and our function as well has the right resources to manage these changes, and to ensure that the implementation in the organization is controlled in the way that we understand what we are implementing. We've got the right people to manage these new implementations, and that the different teams are also trained to ensure that the implementation of these new infrastructures and technologies are controlled in the way that they don't raise unnecessary risks. In the other way, obviously, this should be factored in our audit plans. So we should ensure that our audit plans are covering all these new aspects and not just as let's say monitoring the implementation of different projects, but also to review the settlement and of these new processes and ensure that the organization and the structure of the organization are also well defined to accommodate these businesses and these infrastructures. In this sense, obviously, we need in our teams also this kind of skill sets to help the organization to pinpoint the issues and potential risks that are being raised due to these transformations. And for that, obviously, we need to adapt our resources to this new environment by hiring new talent from the market or evolving the current resources that we've got to this new environment.
Okay, no, that were really, really good answers to all the questions. I don't have any more questions from my side. Just thank you so much, Ivan, for your time. It was really, really interesting hearing your thoughts and your advice, and hope to speak with you really soon.
Thank you very much. It was a great time and very relevant topics in the current situation and the industry. I think we are all trying to resolve all these new challenges and to ensure that we are all up to date to this new environment. And hope speak to you soon as well.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.